Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. For those new to the channel, my name's Sean, also known as Film Guru, and I started this channel having my particular say on movies and a variety of film content, so thanks for joining me today. Today I'm reviewing Barbie. This was directed by Greta Gerwig and co-written by her and Noah Baumbach. The film follows Barbie and Ken. They're having the time of their lives in the colourful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among the humans. After strange things start to happen to Barbie, she questions her existence in Barbie land. And Barbie ultimately goes on a journey of self-discovery, working out who she really is and what she really wants, and really understanding the world that she lives in. Now, this isn't usually the type of film I would go to, but ultimately with Oppenheimer and Barbie being against each other in the box office and coming out at the same time, I just thought I needed to see the contrast. I saw Oppenheimer, which you saw the video I did previous, which I really liked, and I just thought it was time I saw this. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't quite know what the film was going to be about or who the audience for the film would be, children or adults, and in my opinion it's more adults. I was impressed with this film. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Does it ultimately live up to the hype that's surrounding it? In my opinion, not really. But I could understand and see why people are really enjoying it and why they're getting a lot out of it more than others. And there's that whole thing about certain men going to it or seeing this film and thinking it's disgusting and terrible. Yes, it's ultimately looking at men and women and what divide them. In Barbie land, it's really focused on the female characters, all the Barbies. The men are there, but they don't have as much control, I guess, as the women do. And then when we see the real world, it's the opposite. And I think Greta Gerwig tackles this subject matter quite well, and it works for the story. Is it a little much sometimes? In my opinion, just a little bit. But I can see what she was going for and why she was doing what she was doing. I think she's a really solid director. She's had some really great success with smaller films, and this is her first sort of bigger film. I think she handles it really well. She handles the drama and the humor, and just ultimately is a solid storyteller. What really blew me away in this film was Barbie Land. Just the way it was done was so clever and captured. It's beautifully shot. It really feels like you're in Barbie Land. Just the Barbie dream houses and the cars and the accessories and the clothing. It's just really, really eye-opening and so clever. That's the best way to describe this film. It's very clever in its undertaking of things, and it really captures that sense of who Barbie is. Even to the point that her feet are raised, like the Barbie dolls that you get that you can put the shoes on. And it just seems like everything's perfect there, but it's ultimately not once Barbie starts to realize the reality of the situation and still starts to slowly become self-aware. It's Barbie Land in a way, and I've heard that you can go there, would be an ultimately great tourist attraction. I think it would be fantastic to be able to go there and visit the set and to see the dream houses and the other houses and all the other things that come along with being in that sort of world. I think it would be great. I think ultimately Greta Gerwig's really created a wonderful and clever and vibrant and fantastic world here with Barbie Land. I think the casting's great. Margot Robbie's fantastic. I think Barbie, to me, is one of the best characters in the film, and she really goes on a journey. She has an existential crisis, and there's things that she becomes aware of who she is and the world she's living in, and trying to make sense of things. And I really love what they do with this character, and the journey she goes on physically and mentally is just really, really great. She's the heart and soul of the film, in my opinion. She's the character we first meet, she's the character we connect to, and we go on the journey with. And she meets some really interesting people, and I like how her world comes falling down in a way once things start to happen for her in Barbie Land, and then she goes to the real world and see what it's really like. It's really an interesting evolution of a sort of, you know, American icon in a way Barbie is, and the fact that they brought her to life in such a great way, and Margot Robbie plays it so brilliantly. You just really believe she could be Barbie, but also you could believe she's much more than she seems, and I love that. I think Ryan Gosling's solid as Ken. I think Ken's a very funny and entertaining character. He does have a journey of his own. It's a little smaller than Barbie's, but it kind of makes it a very interesting path for him, and we get to see that Ken character in a different light, and how he sort of lives his life for Barbie or through Barbie. But by the end of it, he really is starting to find out who he is as a person away from her, and I love that. And the dynamic between the two actors and the characters was great. They play off each other really well. and you can really believe that they exist in this world. There's so many other great actors in this film. They all do some great performances. Bryce Dallas Howard plays pregnant Barbie, a Barbie they got rid of because they thought it was a silly idea. And there's Kate McKinnon plays sort of crazy Barbie or wild Barbie, and she's really good as well, and it's a character that really suits her. America Ferrera is in this, and she's really, really good. She plays Gloria. She's a single mother with a daughter. And ultimately, when her daughter was little, she played with Barbie, and then ultimately, when she grows up, she grows out of that. But Gloria can't let go of that, and only keeps a Barbie. And that's what starts to affect Barbie. It's because they briefly talk about the connection between a Barbie and the owner or the person who plays with that Barbie in the real world, and how Gloria in the real world and her emotions and stuff start to be put into that particular Barbie, which starts to affect the Barbie in the Barbie land. I really liked that. I thought connect Barbie land in the real world. It was very clever in that regard, I think. But she's really solid here. She ultimately gets to see Barbie land, something she really loved. And she gives such a great speech in the film that sort of really, you can see that it's Greta Gerwig coming out in that. It's a speech that she wrote and obviously has an impact on her and how she really feels about how women are perceived in the world and how they're meant to be and meant to present themselves. And she really gets to the heart of what it truly is, what it truly means to be a woman in this day and age. And she's a real catalyst for change, ultimately, when she comes into the film, in the real world and in Barbie land. And Will Ferrell plays a sort of wacky, silly character like he usually does, playing the CEO of Mattel. He's funny and interesting and everything, but I didn't connect as much as I usually would in these type of roles he does. But besides those characters, my favourite character in the film is Alan, played by Michael Cera. Alan is a fantastic character. He doesn't have a lot of screen time. He ultimately is Ken's best friend. But Michael Cera gives him such a quirky uniqueness that I love. And there's a moment where he's trying to escape Barbie land on a road, and just what unfolds there is fantastic. I would love just a spin-off movie of just Alan. I thought he was so great. Every time he was on screen, I thought it was fantastic. He lit up the movie for me. He was just a really fun and quirky, unique character. And he's a character that really needs to get more praise and be looked at much more because he is so great. I really just thought this was a highly entertaining film. It had much more heart and depth than I expected, and I think that elevates the movie. There's sequences that I really love. The opening sequence is a take on Kubrick's classic 2001 Space Odyssey. I really loved that. It made me laugh. I thought it was very clever, and just how they sort of executed that. There's other sequences throughout the film I really enjoyed. The journey that Barbie and Ken go on from Barbie land to the real world is really great. Just a montage of different things that they have to travel on to get there. And towards the end, there's a sort of a battle dance off kind of thing that happens that's really clever and really funny. And Gosling's really great in this, and I really thought this was a great and fun scene. And there are a smattering of others throughout the movie. The only aspects I didn't overly love was I didn't really like the real world. I found it boring and uninteresting. And when we went there, it just felt like, oh, we have to be here for this part of the story or this revealing of certain things. And I just didn't overly like that aspect to it. I found Barbie World far more interesting. And like I mentioned, I don't think the film really reaches the hype that is surrounding it. It is very clever and well done, like I've expressed, but it just didn't blow me away or wasn't as extraordinary as they were making out. Final thoughts. In the end, it's really a film about not just Barbie, but the journey the character goes on for self-awareness, to understanding, to really considering themselves and how they actually fit in that world and who they are as people beyond what they've been made to believe they are or think they are. And it's also about perceptions, the way we perceive our world and the way we perceive others. I'm going to give Barbie 4 out of 5. I thought it was clever, solid, highly entertaining, with a lot of heart and depth. That is just at times a joy to watch. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow my letterbox and Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.